everyone. Hello. So I'm here with my dearest friend, Yesy. Hello, Yesy.
Hi,
Hey. And we're here. She's here because I was very fortunate enough to find someone that is just like me. She's an introvert, and we really are truly very much alike. So I wanted to bring her here so we can talk a little bit about introversion. Hopefully we won't make it too long because we've already recorded 3 times. It's our 3rd time recording. Hopefully the video will save. So let's get started. And we've been having a little bit of wine. Cheers! Because we are over 21.
Oh.
So yes, we'll get started talking about introversion. So why don't you tell us, Yesy, in your experience, like, what do you feel are the benefits of being an introvert?
The benefits of being an introvert.
I know. It's a new question. We didn't ask that in the last 2 times.
I know. That's I'm like, oh. Can you think of anything?
I mean, personally,
you go first.
Personally, I feel the benefit of being an introvert is that we do think things thoroughly. We are very thorough about how we want to do things or what we want to, like any plans or decisions we need to make, we do think thoroughly about those things. And I think another thing that's very much a benefit is that we make it a point to only be around people that are going to help us grow and feel comfortable and confident. And I think those are very important things because not everybody has that skill set, and sometimes they surround themselves with people that are not good for their lives. So I think those are 2 good things that I'm happy we're introverts about.
I have to say that I agree. Yes, I guess you would say that's being selective, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm definitely selective with the people I decide to be around. I have to feel that I get some type, like energy.
Yeah.
That there's a connection because there are some people that drain me.
Oh, yes. And maybe we can talk about that. As introverts, as you guys may know or may not know, we charge or recharge by being alone, right? So there are people who do drain us or situations that drain us. So I think for us in general, work can be really draining because it is a social interaction, but there are people that we work with who are very draining. So I think, what are some important steps you take to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed and overworked? Like, what is something that you need to do?
I make sure to have some alone time, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I make sure to take my breaks, and during those breaks, I make sure to either meditate or go out for a walk, or sometimes even journal.
Yeah.
But I definitely need some alone time.
Yes.
How about yourself?
Oh, yeah, that's so important. Like, I think as introverts, and I think all introverts who might be watching know this, that it is so important for us to take alone time. And that's one thing that I want to really emphasize, and that's my point for making these videos, is that it's normal for you guys to want to do that. I mean, we do it all the time, and as working adults especially, we have to find the time to make that happen. And it is completely normal, and I think we struggle with the extroverts in our lives not understanding all the time why we need that alone time. But it's totally normal, and it's just, this is the way we recharge. Extroverts recharge by being with other people. We were talking about earlier, like, a good maybe analogy is like if we're the cell phone like in the bathroom that you're charging by itself, that's who we are. While other people, extroverts, might be the cell phone that's charging with other cell phones and maybe it's plugged into the wall with all these other things, right? Like it's like a collective thing. For us, it's more of an individualistic experience. So that's definitely one thing that's important to us. Now, I'm trying to think what other topics you want to talk about. Since we recorded this is for the 3rd time. We're trying to make sure we don't exceed 20 minutes, and it's only been 5, so we have time. Why don't we talk about friendships? What is it that we look for in a friend as an introvert, or maybe things that you avoid when you meet new people?
I have to say that I look for genuine people. I have to know that they are real, that I can trust them. Yeah, that's very important to me. I think that's the most important thing.
Those are the major, yeah. And I think that's in general for introverts, like this is why we're such private people. It's because we're very protective of ourselves and our feelings and even our extended circle. is that we really don't just trust anybody. We have to feel very comfortable. And that is something that some extroverts don't understand, because this is part of the reason why we don't really talk to strangers. We don't start conversations unless we have to. And which I guess it could be a little bit of a drawback, but it's just we're protecting ourselves. We're protecting our space. I don't know if that's always necessarily a personality thing or something we grew up learning, that we need to protect ourselves and our circle. But it is very important for me as well when I'm meeting people. If I'm going to become friends with someone, I want to know that they're genuine. I want to know that they respect my need for space. Like, I can tell you with Yesy and I, we're very respectful of each other's space and time. And even today, when we knew we were going to do this, we checked in with each other. She asked me, do you still want to do this? Like, it's whatever time. And, like, what else do you want to do? So we plan everything. We're very respectful and calculated about everything we do. And I think that is important for us, which is why we get along so well, because it's like we plan ahead of time. At the same time, because we are comfortable with each other, we are able to be spontaneous with each other, because we know that no matter what I ask her to do with me or vice versa, that we're conscientious about being comfortable. Like, anything that I invite her to, I know that I'm being respectful of her, like, need for space or being comfortable, whatever the case is, and I feel the same vice versa. We are aware of those things.
And also, right? I think it also depends how comfortable we are, that sometimes even though we are guarded, we do feel open to speaking to someone if they make us feel comfortable. Like, if we feel they are genuine, then we will be more open to start a conversation.
Right. And definitely that, and one thing we didn't really mention, but it's so true, is that people who we feel are actually listening to us. Because we are, for the most part, the listeners. In every relationship, friendship that we have with anybody, we're always the listeners, right? So it's like when you meet someone who's actually willing to listen to you and what you have to say, we're like, oh my God, like someone actually wants to know what we feel. Like,
right. Someone cares.
Someone cares. And so with those people, we feel very comfortable. And I think that's when we meet a stranger that we feel comfortable with, is when we know that they're actually interested in knowing about us and things that we care about, not general dumb conversation that doesn't matter. So that's something that I think people they have misconceptions about, is that we're not willing to talk to anybody and we're just like super antisocial, and that's just not the case. Like, we are very selective about who we talk to and why.
Who we
open up to at work and life and everything. My cat is meowing in the background, so if you hear that, it's my cat, not a random sound effect. Yep. She's looking like, what's happening? Anyway, so that's definitely one important thing. One thing we talked about when we were recording before, which I still think could be a separate video on its own, but it's dating an extrovert as an introvert. How does that work for you?
I mean, it works fine. We've been together for 4 years, but I mean, it did take some time, to get used to the differences.
Yeah.
Because we do have differences. He's ready. He's always ready to go out and be around a group of people. And I'm the type of person that when I get home from work, I want my space, my alone time, my quiet time. So it did take some getting used to.
Absolutely. Oh, the same for me. I mean, I feel like the guy I'm dating is very, even though sometimes he says he's not that extroverted, but my dude, you're so extroverted.
My boyfriend says the same thing.
Yeah, like, look. It's like when you have this need to be around people, you're not introverted, you're extroverted. And if you like talking on the phone, you're extroverted. Like, I don't care what you say. Now, again, there are levels to everything. So, like, you can be extremely extroverted and then being on the verge of being, like, in the middle between an introvert and an extrovert. So there's levels to everything. And I feel like probably both our guys are in that, like, border where they're, like, they can be a little introvert in some situations, but they can be very extroverted in others. And so, which is totally fine. And I think, like we said before, I think it is a good balance for us to date extroverts, because I don't know what it would be like to date an introvert. Like, if we were both like...
We'd probably be at home
all the time. Day. Yeah, we wouldn't challenge ourselves. Right. And the same with them. I feel like they wouldn't know how to chill for a second and like just enjoy their time at home, or like one-on-one. So I think it is a good balance, you know, and but the difficulty is always in, like, when it comes to going out or socializing. Like, I feel in my case sometimes, and guys I've dated in the past, they didn't really understand why I needed to be really prepared mentally to go somewhere. Like, my ex-boyfriend always wanted to hang out with his friends, and he has a gigantic group of friends, and they're all very nice people, but it was always a party, and I was like, I'm not always in the mood to go to a party, and so it caused me a lot of anxiety, and he didn't understand that, and that was really difficult for me, because it's like, I want to be able to socialize with your friends, but I want to know that that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to find out last minute and be like, oh, now we're doing this. I'm like,
we need a heads up.
We do. And we were talking about this earlier, but it is kind of a control thing for us. We do find a need to be, in not such a negative connotation way, but it's like we want to control as much as possible. And I think it's because we are sensitive people. We want to be able to not get upset or anxious, jealous, sad, whatever, fill in the blank, by these situations. So it's like,
so we try to avoid it, and our way of avoiding it is by trying to control as much of.
Which honestly, this is a realization we had recently. We're like, oh! And I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think part of it is very much like evolutionary. Like, it's a fight or flight response. Like, these are the things that maybe we grew up knowing and seeing, so this is our automatic reaction. But we are very much aware of it. And that's, I think, another benefit of being an introvert, is that we are very self-aware. We are so self-aware, it's not even funny. And we sometimes wonder, like, if extroverts are that self-aware. And I think in my experience, I don't think many of them are. So I think it is a gift and a curse to have the ability to be so self-aware, right? It is what it is, y'all. So I know we're, like, going through this really fast now. Like, we're so afraid this is not going to record. But do you want to share? So, okay, in talking about needing alone time, what are some things? I know you kind of mentioned that you meditate and take some breaks, but I guess at what point did you really realize that was something that you needed, or have you always done that?
Actually, it was back in college. My health teacher was really into alternative medicine. That's when the chakra system was first introduced to me.
So cool.
And she explained how the aura works and why it is that some people we are attracted to, and some people we're just like, I need to stay away from this person. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And she mentioned that it was like the aura, the energy that we're giving off. And that's why she mentioned that when we're giving off like an off-balance energy or a negative aura, it's because our chakras are not aligned. So she mentioned a way to getting them aligned is by meditating. So that's how meditation was first introduced to me. And I became very interested, and I think it's just because of how it was explained, you know, that it has to do with the energy you give off and why you're attracted to some people and why you're turned off by others, you know, that resonated with me, and I was like, wow, that makes total sense.
That's so cool.
And I noticed that meditating is just what works for me. Sometimes it's because we are so self-aware, and, you know, we worry a lot, overthink a lot. My mind is constantly working, that sometimes I do need to pause and take a minute to just breathe.
Oh, God, that is so true. And, you know, that just made me realize, too, that we are very much interested in self-improvement and anything that helps us, like, grow as an individual. And I think that's why a lot of introverts tend to be teachers, counselors, healers, doctors, that kind of thing, because they're interested in how to help other people improve and, like, feel good about themselves, you know, and that's totally a sign of that. It's like that clicked with you, that really resonated with you. It's like, why do certain people, like, make me feel comfortable, and others I'm like, I know right away I need to stay away from these people, you know, and it's like you said, part of being self-aware, it's also being aware of other people. And so we do sense people's energies or auras. Like, that's just, it's just something that we are very intuitive about and we're very aware about. So that's
very sensitive to.
Yes, right? Which is, I guess, another reason why we're selective about who we're around, because we want to have positive energy around us. And when we sense that someone has that bad energy, we're like, oh, I don't want to be this person. And I do feel that, again, I'm not trying to, like, say anything bad about extroverts because I think extroverts are wonderful people too. Obviously, we're dating them. But it's like, I think they're just comfortable being friends with just anybody and being around anybody without really sensing that this person might not be good for you. You know, and like we sense that, which is why we're again selective about who we're with. And
they're not trustworthy or
yeah, and I think that's why the whole social interaction that's random is hard for us because we don't want to just open up to anybody. We only open up to people that we truly feel understand us and we can trust. And that's something that extroverts are like, no, I'm cool with just being open to anybody and like being friends with anybody, which I'm a little bit jealous about.
Same here.
You know, but it's like, I think as introverts, we're very selective, very protective of ourselves, our feelings, and our inner circle. Absolutely. So that's just our experience with introversion, and I think there's so much under that umbrella. Like, there's so much we can talk about, and I think I definitely want to have Yesy over for other topics we can discuss. This is more like an impromptu type of video, which we recorded 3 times, like I said already. But there's just so much to talk about within this topic because it's like, it really affects us in so many ways at work, as individuals, with our families and relationships, goals.
And because you said earlier, oftentimes extroverts or extroversion is praised. So being an introvert, it's kind of looked down upon, right? So I feel most people think that they have to be extroverted.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not really the case.
And I didn't tell you, but my guy just basically told me that like, you need to be outgoing to be successful. And I was like, bitch, no. I didn't say that. But, and to some extent I understand that. And I, you know, because at the end of the day, when you're working, you do need to connect with people. That's the reality of things. But you don't need to be an extrovert to do that. You know, like, I can tell you, Yesy and I are very hardworking people. People trust us with our work because we know we work hard. We're very thorough and we care about the work that we put out. So we could easily be CEOs of a company, not because we're extroverts, but because we care about what we produce. And I think that's the misconception, that you have to be so outgoing and fake, you know, to make connections with people. And I don't believe in that. I feel like we can be authentic. We can be ourselves and create a more like truthful environment and still be super successful, right? I feel like 10 years from now, you're going to see us on the billboard or some shit. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not, but we might be like bosses. We're going to be running an office or a company or who knows what. And that's like, it has nothing to do with being an extrovert.
I agree.
It's your work ethic, it's your drive, it's just all of those things. So don't think for a second.
And also, I think a big part of it is just accepting who you are and being confident in who you are, what you have to offer. Because people are always going to have stuff to say, but all that matters is how you feel about yourself. If you know you have what it takes, then, you know, who cares what other people think?
Exactly, which is why Yesy should open up her makeup channel, right? If you've noticed, her makeup is so beautiful because she does makeup really well. So, which is another reason I brought her on, and we didn't say this in the other 2 recordings, 3 recordings or whatever, but she's so great at this craft, and I want her to share that with everybody. So hopefully eventually you'll see her post videos, and I'll be like, follow her. But yeah, I think we need to believe in ourselves and show people that being an introvert is not a limitation in terms of careers. Like, we can achieve just as much as extroverts can.
If not more.
If not more. Amen to that. So with that said, let's cheers to that. Oh, she's almost done. We're going to have to refill. But thank you guys for watching. We'll make more videos. Hopefully this one will record and save. But if you have any questions or anything else, let us know. We're really happy to talk about these topics. We'll definitely make more videos. And we'll just go from there. So we'll see you soon. Bye.